name is Danielle Haynes, and this is my informative speech on suicide prevention. Katura Scrine and Alexis Thompson are the names of just two of my friends I have lost in the past 3 years to suicide before their 21st birthday. Although suicide is not an occurrence we can ever truly prepare ourselves for, it can be prevented. As reported by the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline, over 37,000 suicides are committed each year, and hundreds of thousands of attempts occur, affecting the lives of friends and family members everywhere. I am someone who has witnessed and been affected by several suicides, as well as more than 5 suicide attempts. Although suicide is almost always shocking and unexpected, it can be prevented if we are informed on the risk factors and the warning signs. It is rather obvious that anyone can be affected by the loss of a loved one, but much less obvious to notice that almost anyone, meaning any demographic and age group, can be affected by suicide. Suicide is the third leading cause of death among persons between 15 and 24, the second leading cause for ages 25 through 34, and the fourth among persons 35 through 64, as reported by the CDC. 4 times more men than women kill themselves, but 3 times more women than men attempt suicide. None of us are immune or protected from suicide simply because the risk factors are everywhere. Risk factors are just circumstances or instances in our life that put us at a higher risk. These risk factors can be perpetuating, predisposing, contributory, acute, or precipitating. Perpetuating risk factors are those factors that we can't control and can't be modified throughout life. Those can be the history of your parents, just their health history, their history of substance abuse or violence within the home, or even your demographic. Predisposing factors are those that we have the potential to be changed or that can be treated, such as our personal substance abuse, mood or emotional disorders, such as bulimia or anorexia. Also, these can include perfectionism and self-esteem issues we have within ourselves. Contributory factors include those that may add to an increased suicidal thoughts, such as your access to get a gun or a weapon, or sudden isolation or traumatic events happening in your life. Precipitating factors are those that heighten the risk to someone already vulnerable to suicide, such as sudden shame, guilt, despair, humiliation, unacceptable loss of face or status, of legal problems, or maybe even financial problems they're having. Because so many people experience most of these risk factors on a day-to-day basis in their lives, it's not these factors that allow us to notice if someone is at risk for suicide. What allows us to notice this is the warning signs, and that's how we all react to the risk factors within our life. Some of the biggest warning signs are talking about wanting to die or killing oneself, looking for a way to kill oneself, talking about feeling hopeless or trapped or helpless within a situation. If we or our friends are feeling this way, that is a definite warning sign for suicide. One of the biggest warning signs is depression, which all of us can be affected by. According to the National Library of Medicine, depression is a mood disorder in which feelings of sadness, loss, anger, or frustration interfere with everyday life for weeks or longer periods of time. Depression is one of the major warning signs for suicide. As reported by the American Association of Suicidology, about 2/3 of people who complete suicides are depressed at their times of death. And many of these individuals show warning signs, but they go unnoticed by others around them. The knowledge and recognition of those signs can be the determining factor in a case of suicide and in a case of saving our own lives or someone else's. So to prevent this, the first step we need to take is just to talk to people. If we're having these problems, we have to reach out and seek help for ourselves or offer help to anyone we think is at risk, whether they are or not. If you feel like someone around you either can't stop pain, they can't think clearly, they don't want to be surrounded with the people or friends that they usually are, then those are definite warning signs where you should go ahead and talk to them. A major step in prevention is also just being knowledgeable about resources around you. Those can be spiritual leaders, those can be clinics within your area, those can be crisis centers, mental health agencies, or just counselors at your school or your workplace. Another big resource is the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline at 1-800-273-TALK. They offer counselors about suicide and suicide prevention on not only how to help yourself, the How to Help Your Friends, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, every single day of the year. Under any circumstances, suicide is traumatic and an uncomfortable event, especially for the family and friends of the victims. The number of suicides are growing quickly, and unfortunately, there are no social barriers protecting any group from this happening. We all need to be aware of the risk factors that put us at risk for suicide and put our friends at risk for suicide, as well as the warning signs they might show when they're hurting. Being informed will not only protect our loved ones from their personal hurt, but will consequently protect ourselves from such unbearable losses.